So then we practice with the questions on the bottom, determining what type of question they are. So on average, how many books does each person in the United States read each year? That's going to be a statistical question with numerical data because it's always going to be a number. I read 52 books this year, or my sister read 10 books this year. So they're going to be different answers, but they're still a number answer. Number 2, how many acts are in the play Romeo and Juliet? That's going to be a non-statistical question because there's only one answer that makes that true. There's only 13 acts. I can't say there's 6 because that wouldn't be a true answer. Which book has been read most by students in class this summer? That's going to be your categorical statistical question because your answer is going to be the title of the book. So I'd be like, oh, the most commonly read book was, I don't know, It Ends With Us or something like that. That would also be non-statistical because it's the book that was read most by students in the class. So there's only going to be one answer to make that true because it's the most common, not just which books were read by students in this class. And then the bottom one, how many books are in the classroom right now? Again, that's non-statistical because there's only one answer to make that true. So then we just talked about how statistics is all about using data to solve problems or make decisions. There's 2 types of data: numerical data, such as how tall are the students in this class. It would result in measuring the height of each student using a numerical data. And then categorical data on the bottom use characteristics. For example, if the question is what brand of phones do people use, we'd survey a lot of people and their answers would be categorical data because it'd be like either Apple or Samsung or other types of phone brands that they use. Then we looked at these and we talked about how this is a dot plot. This is a box plot, also called box and whiskers, and this is a histogram. It's not a bar graph, it's a histogram. It's a little bit more detailed. And we just talked about how all 3 of these graphs are talking about battery life in hours, and they have the same information they use, but they are displayed in different ways. So we talked about how, if we look at the dot plot, we can kind of see every single point, every single value that was used. But if we look at the box and whiskers plot, it kind of summarizes it using the minimum and the maximum and the median. And we'll talk about that more later in the next lessons. And then that histogram just kind of shows a general shape of the information. And then we practiced it. So there's the data here, and it's in all these different numbers for how many days it takes for different tomato plants to produce tomatoes.